it's Rogue. And if you remember, a couple of months ago, Behavior has changed their MMR in a very strange way. They raised the soft cap from 1600 to 1900. They didn't give an explanation for this. They didn't say why this happened, but I suppose it was an attempt to separate Sweatlord from casuals. And it could have been a really good idea if reaching this cap wasn't still piss easy. In fact, at the time, like, randomly, exactly during that time, Aaron, JRM, Ozdarva, and Hans were doing the hardcore Survivor Challenge, and they noticed that something was off. Their matches had become really, really, really sweaty, way sweatier than the previous years. Years in which they also had attempted the same challenge. But this year, all of them seemed to notice that something was off. And to be fair, I think it was evident even to the spectators, like to us watching them. And they were being like, what did we become, super bad? What happened? No, the MMR had changed, but guess what? They had reached the soft cap very easily anyway. It had taken them, like, I think 40 or 50 games in a row where almost each and every of this game, they all four escaped. I know that if you're a beginner, this could seem like a lot, but remember that once you reach the soft cap, you are not going to go below it and you are going to reach it. It doesn't matter how casually you play, it doesn't matter how much you don't care about winning, you will reach that soft cap. You will. And once you are there to stay. So the only thing that this change did actually was making that time when at the start of the game, when you have just begun playing the game, you just downloaded it, making the time between when you start and when you actually gonna start facing sweats longer. But for everyone else, for casual players that bring maybe meme perks, but have been playing this game for 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, almost 8 years, that has changed absolutely nothing for the best because it has changed so much for the worst, actually. I made a video at the time where I pointed out that making Sweatlord face Sweatlords was not that bad. Like, it was completely fine. And if this change aimed to make people with thousands and thousands of hours only face people that were very, very experienced and with thousands and thousands of hours, then it was okay because a lot of streamers were crying about the fact that now they actually had to concentrate and pay attention to what was happening in their games if they wanted to win. And my opinion at the time, and it's still the same, was, well, you have two choices. Either you actually pay attention or you don't, and you don't care about winning, which it's probably easy for me to say because I'm part of the latter. I don't really care. Like, I can lose 50 games in a row and I absolutely don't give a fuck. Like, a couple of days ago, Survivors brought me to Irio Crows as Legion, and I lost a game. I don't know with how many hooks, but I remember very clearly that I got 250s. 250s. Best game of the week, in my opinion. Anyway, so, if your point is, well, I cry because I can't win, my honest reaction is cry. I don't give a fuck. But there is one thing that has been really killed here, in my opinion, and I can see it with my friends when I play with them in a Zwift. And remember, we are not meta perks, meta items bringers. You've seen my Survivor games. We bring mostly shit. Like, I half of us never have exhaustion perks. Like, it's yeah. Um, we see a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot of corrupt painless pop, corrupt. Like, that's what we see all the time. It happens sometimes, it happens when there is a day where for some reason, maybe queues are a little bit longer. Maybe the people that are online are more light-hearted and don't bring that stuff. But the variety is really being killed, in my opinion. Like, what I see as Survivor is that it's blight, corrupt, painless pop. Nurse, corrupt, painless pop. Less nurses because nowhere to hide is skill switch it. And even when you face lower tier killers, which, spoiler, I don't. Uh, the last Legion I have faced was in solo queue during Bone Chill event. Even when you do, they are either gods at the game, which for me is great, but or super sweaty or both. So I'm always very happy to face people that are extremely good at their killers or that are extremely good at survivor. But it kills me a little when every time it's corrupt painless pop. Even on people that play killers that can close their chases in 10 seconds because the character allows it and they are that good. And this moves us to killer. On killer, I have never in my entire life struggled this much at getting downs and hooks as Legion. Um, do I care? Like, is this something that hurts my ego or some shit? Absolutely not. Again, I could lose all my games as Legion for the remainder of my life and I would still be happy because I simply like playing the character. But survivors have become extremely efficient. Seeing people that are super cracked at looping and just, run me the entire game, I just think like, okay, you know what? I just need to get good. But most survivors, whether they're good or not, they simply bring the best stuff and start pre-running 35 years in advance because why not? Why not? And if you don't have an anti-loop, you're really gonna suffer. And guess what? Even if you're not good at looping, which happens a lot, what matters is that survivors split and they can just win the game by that. Because by the time you, as an M1 killer with no pressure, no anti-loop, and no bitches, get to someone else, they have popped 2 gens. Problem is encountering the same playstyles and same perks every game. Because again, if a perk is good, if a playstyle is good, why switching it up? Why trying something that is a little bit different that could give me a lot of value one time, but maybe it's useless in 5 games, 10 games, 20 games, when I can bring something that is going to give me value all the time. I like a lot hacks to can play. And there have been so many games in which that perk did absolutely nothing for me. Either they cleansed the hacks every time, or they knew their pathing anyway. What would have given me value every time? Pain rest, pop, corrupt intervention. And if something is strong, why not bringing it? I totally understand. It's completely legit. And I think survivors do the correct things by bringing them. And killers, well, again, killer is even more pressuring time wise. So yeah, of course, you want to bring the best stuff, but by bringing the best stuff, you're gonna basically up the ante for yourself because you want to win more games, and you have seen that corrupt or sprint burst or whatever bring you more wins than you can play or any means necessary, and that's what you bring, and so you win more games, and you keep facing people that win more games, and guess what these people bring? Corrupt, painless, pop, sprint burst, buckle up for the people. And this is pretty boring. This is pretty boring. When every match feels the same, pre-run, play the tile, sit on gens all the time, corrupt painless pop, it becomes boring. When every match feels the same, it's really hard to find the will to try something new because you know that if you don't keep bringing the same things, you're gonna lose a lot more. And I confronted so many friends about this. Not confronted is not the right word. I asked so many friends about this. Do you think winning is important? And the vast majority of them told me that yes, wanting to win is completely normal. So I'm not gonna shame people this time because they want to win. Apparently, it's really common. If you want to win, and most people apparently want to win, then you are gonna bring the strongest stuff in the game because guess what? You have it, and you're just gonna bring it. And if you don't want to win, like if you don't care, still every match is gonna feel the same, and that's kind of boring. Um, and I understand behavior's good intention in wanting to make matches less sweaty, but I'm afraid that they actually got the opposite effect. I feel like, yes, of course, they protected beginners a little bit more, but I'm afraid once they are not new anymore, will feel like they need to bring certain perks um, or play in a certain way or bring certain adders or play certain killers. Because again, try being Legion at IMMR, try and report to me about your suffering. They will feel like they will have to because it doesn't matter how good your game sense is. It doesn't matter how good your mind games are. If you're playing a killer with no anti-loop, a lot of your games are still gonna feel extremely, extremely, extremely hard and sweaty. Um, and so you're gonna play Blight, and so you're gonna play Nurse, and so you're gonna play Spirit, and then your games are going to become hard again because survivors have commodious toolboxes and brand new parts and syringes, and then you're going to play Blight and Nurse's Spirit with corrupt painless pop, and then there's nothing else, then there's nothing else. Once you're good and you're playing the strongest killer with the strongest perks, every match is going to feel the same. and that's kind of sad. I feel like the devs in Dead by Daylight are being screamed at and criticized for stuff that has been done in the past and has been in the game for so long because the people before them did not think about changing it. But now they are changing it. They're doing a lot of really good stuff, and I hope they will keep doing it, and I hope they will address this because I think the worst thing for a game is to become boring. Anyway, tell me what you think about this issue. What have you encountered this time? What your matchmaking was? How was your experience? And see you tomorrow, maybe.